Our national debt as a share of the economy, our GDP, is now 77%. That's the highest since just after World War II. Question is, why are both of you ignoring this problem?
Fox News debate moderator Chris Wallace going after the presidential candidates on Wednesday for their national debt plans. Basically, how do you reduce the debt? Now, when we talk about the deficit as $20 trillion, the number that Chris Wallace was citing doesn't even include Social Security or Medicare. He basically was talking about the nonpartisan committee for federal budgets. It's saying that, yeah, our debt, again, doesn't include Social Security and Medicare, could go to 86% in the next decade under Hillary Clinton's plan, could go to 105% under Trump's, whatever the number is. Here to respond, Trump economic advisor Steve Moore. You know, what do you make of this? And basically what I was thinking about this, Steve, is that, you know, when the government goes in there and spends money, we have to pay the interest costs on that debt, right? And we cannot ever default on that debt. We have to continue to pay to China and to the debt that we own in our own trust funds.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I mean, so that's how the government is really redistributing income, right? Is by spending and then taxing us to pay off that debt, right?
No doubt about it. And, you know, one of the fastest rising expenditures in the budget, Liz, as you just alluded to, is the interest payments on the debt. And by the way, we don't get anything in return for that. We don't get roads or hospitals or schools or anything that that American people want from their tax dollars. We're just paying off the bondholders. I would say this. You know, I thought Donald Trump actually handled that question very well, because he was right when he said, you're not going to do anything about reducing this debt when the economy is growing at 1%. Liz, there's just no way you can get there. You can cut everything out of the budget. You're just not going to be able to make progress in bringing down that debt to GDP ratio. If we can get the economy growing at 4%, and I've said it many times on Fox Business News, if we put in place the Trump plan with the tax cuts, the deregulation, the energy policies, you can get 4% growth.
Right.
Then all of a sudden that curve you were talking about, Liz, that debt to GDP ratio, because the economy grows faster than the debt, it starts to fall. Right. Hillary's plan of raising taxes, I think, will actually cause a recession.
We'll get to
then the debt GDP goes way up.
Right, we're like in the Carter era without the inflation. I mean, getting back to 4% growth, which was the norm from World War II. I mean, certainly until last decade, or before, I think 1998, 99. Steve, the other thing, too, is that when we look at where we are now, the Democrat Party was never behaving like this. It was a different party, and it changed under President Barack Obama. I feel like we've fallen through the looking glass, and we're on the other side of the mirror. It is not normal to have 1.5% growth, right, Steve?
Yeah, 1.5% growth. In the last 6 months, we were actually less than 1.5% growth. You know, I harken back to the Kennedy years, you know, when we actually had Democrats promoting tax rate reductions, remember, to grow the economy. It worked under JFK. It worked under Reagan. I was always shocked. In all three of the debates, Hillary Clinton says, you know, tax rate reductions have never worked. Well, Hillary, what are you talking about? It worked in the 60s, 80s, even under Bill Clinton's presidency. Remember, Liz, one of the things that happened at the end of the Clinton presidency was the reduction in the capital gains tax, and we had a flood of capital gains tax revenue that came in when the rate went down.
Yeah, that is really astonishing what's happening. Steve Moore, thank you so much for your time. I hope you have a good weekend.